The legendary pirate king, scourge of the seven seas, drew his last breath alone as thunder roared.
Our promise. It was never meant to end like this, old rival.
This body feels like a prison. So weak. What happened to my strength? This reflection. It's not my face. Who am I supposed to be now?
A black and blue cadet coat hung on a hook, a uniform that marked him as the lowest of the low. Suta pushed himself off the bed, but his legs buckled, sending him crashing to the floor.
Pathetic. I once commanded the seas, and now I can't even stand.
Outside the door, faint laughter echoed, mocking, cruel, and aimed at someone.
No one will mock me anymore. I will make this weak body a king once more.
He pulled the uniform over his frail shoulders, silver eyes glinting with a fire that did not belong to a weakling. He took a step toward the door, his legs trembling like a newborn colt's. The effort made him grit his teeth.
This body is a disgrace, but my mind is still the Pirate King's.
From the corridor, cruel laughter echoed. Someone was being tormented for being weak.
In my day, I'd have already broken a few bones, but today, I have to be smarter. He closed his eyes, and for a fleeting instant, he saw his old crew cheering on the deck of his ship, a sea of roaring loyalty. Brute force is out of the question. I need to outthink this place.
With a deep breath, he pushed open the door. The hallway stretched before him, sparse and unforgiving.
Eyes cold, spine straight. That's the first weapon.
The laughter was closer now, and he could see a small group gathered at the end of the corridor, taunting a lone cadet.
A king doesn't run from a fight, but he chooses his battlefield.
The grand courtyard buzzed with cadets, all standing in rigid lines under a cloudless sky. Sauta slipped into place, invisible. Suddenly, the crowd parted like the sea. Kazuya strode in, golden uniform gleaming, a circle of sycophants trailing him.
Make way for the future lord of this academy. Try not to breathe on me, rabble.
A scrawny cadet with brown hair stumbled, bumped from behind, and crashed to the stones. His books scattered like wounded birds.
A cockroach that can't even walk straight. Tell me, do you exist just to amuse me?
I am sorry, sir. I didn't mean to. It was an accident.
Accident. You are the accident. No one in this shithole even knows your name.
The same tyrants, different century. Only now I am wearing rags and standing among the cattle.
Ryo's face reddened as laughter echoed around him. Kazuya placed a foot on the scattered books, grinding them into the dirt.
This body may be fragile, but if I let this slide, the Pirate King dies twice. In his mind's eye, he stood on a blood-slicked deck, hauling a beaten sailor to his feet, a king who never bowed.
That memory burned hotter than any muscle memory. The Pirate King had never tolerated a bully.
This time, I don't need a fleet, just a single step.
Suta's foot moved before his mind could weigh the cost. The crowd's whispers died as he broke formation. Kazuya's golden gaze snapped toward the movement. A sneer twisted his lips as he recognized the frail nobody.
Lost your way, scarecrow. The livestock pen is that way.
Let him up. Your performance is boring me.
Gasps rippled through the assembled cadets. No one had spoken to the air like that and survived. A faint crimson flicker sparked in Sota's silver eyes, a ghost of a forgotten storm. Kazuya's grin turned razor sharp. He stepped off the books, cracking his knuckles.
Draw your sword, Heir. Prove to everyone here that you are not just a bully hiding behind a title and daddy's gold.
Prove. I'll enjoy breaking you in front of the livestock. You'll know your place soon enough.
Kazuya's regal sword hissed free. He launched forward, a blur of golden fury, blade aimed straight for Sota's throat.
His stance is too wide. He depends on brute speed, not balance. Amateur.
Suta shifted his weight to the left. The blade sliced through empty air, missing by a hair's breadth. In the next heartbeat, Sota's hand closed around Kazuya's extended wrist. The attack stopped dead. The courtyard fell into a heavy silence. A pin could drop and echo.
Impossible. How did a weakling like you?
Weak, maybe. But I've been fighting longer than you've been breathing, boy.
Kazuya ripped his wrist free, chest heaving. The humiliation in his eyes warred with disbelief and something fiercer. Kazuya lunged again, a wild flurry of gold and steel, each strike more reckless than the last. He sidestepped, hooking Kazuya's ankle with his own, a simple lever technique that used the air's momentum against him.
Anger makes you predictable. Time to finish this.
Kazuya's world spun as the ground slammed into his back, dust exploding around him in a gritty cloud. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Even the instructors stood frozen, mouths agape.
That stance. He didn't use an ounce of unnecessary strength. Who is this cadet?
This can't be happening. I am the heir.
Suta stood over the fallen heir, cutlass lowered casually, silver eyes cold as the abyss. The crimson aura flickered faintly around him for a heartbeat. No one breathed. The academy's hierarchy shattered like glass. The weak cadet had humbled, the strongest heir with pure technique, and everything was about to change. Suta sheathed his cutlass with a sharp snap, the sound cutting through the silence like a closing chapter. Kazuya pushed himself onto one knee, fist smashing the cobblestones. Dust and pride scattered at his feet. From the edge of the crowd, a single pair of hands came together. Slow, deliberate claps. Princess May stepped forward.
This nobody. He read every move I made. That technique, it's not from this era.
Suta turned his back on the heir, walking through the parted sea of cadets without a word. A yellow tag of legend almost seemed to hang in the air around him. Reborn King.
How that glow! It felt like staring into the abyss of a forgotten storm.
A king reborn. And he just shattered every rule this academy holds dear.
Suta disappeared into the main hall, leaving behind a courtyard frozen in disbelief and a prince on his knees. The legend of the Reborn King had taken its first breath, and the academy would never be the same. Inside the academy's hushed corridor, soft footsteps closed in on Suta's back.
You walk like a man who already conquered a sea of enemies. Who taught you to fight like that?
She's sharp. I need to be careful. The sea is a harsh teacher. I learned to survive. Nothing more.
The sea? You speak like you've sailed it. Your file says you are a coastal orphan with no combat record.
She's been digging into my background. Dangerous. Files lie, princess. Orphans learn to be invisible. And how to survive when they're not.
I am not your enemy. I'd like to offer an alliance. With royal backing, you could rise fast.
Royal backing could be useful. But alliances mean chains. I am not ready to be leashed.
He walked away from the princess, toward the training grounds. Alone in the moonlight, he lifted a wooden sword.
This body resists every movement, muscles screaming from decades of neglect, but I will carve it into shape.
Each swing was a conversation with a past life, the muscle memory buried, the spirit awake. He dropped to the ground, arms trembling like brittle branches, and forced his body through push-ups.
A sudden vertigo. The training yard dissolved, replaced by a burning sunset and a ship's deck under my feet.
For a fleeting heartbeat, he saw his old crew, heard their roaring loyalty, then it vanished.
What was that? A memory. I saw the medallion, the same one the old king clutched as he died. It's pulling me towards something, someone, an oath left unfulfilled.
His arms gave out. He collapsed onto the dirt, chest heaving, the medallion branded into his mind's eye.
This body is too weak, but the soul still remembers. I must find the other half of this curse.
Exhaustion claimed him, but the pull of an unfinished destiny kept him from true rest. Days blurred into a tense routine. In every corridor, a golden gaze followed Sota, not with pure rage, but a haunted confusion.
He's not just bitter. He's wrestling with something he doesn't understand.
Late at night in his chamber, Kazuya hurled a chair against the wall, gripping his head as if to silence screaming ghosts.
Why does that weakling's face bring these visions? A sun-scorched beach, a sword I don't remember.
That same night, Sauta's dreams were invaded by golden hair and a mocking laugh. Two young pirates clashing under a bleeding sunset.
That face, the same golden eyes as Kazuya. The medallion glowed between us.
He woke drenched in cold sweat. The connection was no longer a suspicion. It was a certainty demanding proof.
The Academy Library holds records of ancient pacts. Somewhere in those dusty shelves there's an answer.
By dawn, Sauta was already deep in the library's forbidden archives, scanning brittle scrolls for a symbol he knew only from fragmented dreams. The search for the truth about the reborn king and his golden-haired rival had begun in a forgotten corner of the library. Sauta's fingers brushed a weather-beaten journal, its cover embossed with the symbol of two crossed swords beneath a crown. Chronicles of the Tide Kings, Volume 7. In every era, two souls return, bound by an oath made on the shores of fate. They bear a medallion split in two, a promise to build a new world. If broken, the souls are condemned to war until the oath is fulfilled. A flash tore through his mind. A sun-scorched beach, two young pirates clasping hands over a glowing scroll, faces full of savage hope.
The golden-haired youth, it's Kazuya. He is the rival I swore to build a new world with.
The scroll cracked, the oath shattered. Centuries of bitter rivalry sealed in that instant.
This is why I was reborn, not to conquer, but to mend. Yet how do I make an arrogant heir remember a riptide of a past he thinks is madness?
The medallion in his mind's eye burned crimson. The other half was out there, dormant in a golden prince's soul.
Confront him. Show him the truth. Force him to see that our rivalry isn't meant to end in another duel.
He stood, the journal tucked under his arm, and walked toward the training hall where he knew the heir would be alone and vulnerable. The corridors stretched ahead like a riptide, pulling him toward a confrontation he could not avoid.
That promise, build a new world, echoes across centuries. We failed it once.
He visioned the training hall, the lonely heir swinging his sword in frustration.
To crush him again would be easy, but the oath demands more.
The medallion's phantom weight burned against his chest, a reminder of what was at stake.
I must bury the Pirate King's pride and offer something he has never known, a brother's hand.
He stopped before the heavy oaken doors, the muffled clang of steel echoing from within.
Kazuya is in there, haunted by a past he doesn't understand. It's time he knew.
He touched the spot where a medallion would hang, summoning the crimson resolve of a king. With a breath that tasted of salt and iron, he pushed open the doors, the shadows swallowing him whole.
You again? Scarred from my blade so soon? I'll give you the rematch you are begging for.
Kazuya lunged, a storm of gold and fury. Sota sidestepped, his cutlass never leaving its sheath.
I am not here to cross blades. I came to finish a promise we made long before this academy existed.
What nonsense is this? Are you so broken you've started weaving fairy tales?
Fairy tales? I am the Pirate King Reborn. And you, Kazuya, are my old rival, the one I swore to build a new world with.
Suta reached into his coat and pulled out the ancient journal, then touched his chest, and a crimson medallion of light blazed into existence. The light struck Kazuya like a tidal wave, and his mind flooded with images: a sun-scorched beach, a broken scroll, and a face that was his own, yet not. He saw the old rival, scarred and bitter, shouting at the dying king on a storm-ravaged deck, the same broken medallion between them. Then the young pirates on the beach, hands gripping, oath burning, then shattering into 1,000 pieces, echoing through centuries. Kazuya stood frozen, his sword clattering to the stone floor. Eyes wide, breath ragged, a lifetime of forgotten rage and grief crashing over him.
These memories, they're mine. I was that bitter old man.
You feel it now, don't you? The weight of a centuries-old grudge that should never have been.
Shut up! Shut up! I am not. I am the heir of Tide Academy, not some washed-up pirate.
His voice cracked, the arrogance crumbling like a sandcastle against the tide.
We were fools then. Pride destroyed our promise. I am asking you now, help me build that new world.
Why? Why would you even want that, after what I did to you, to others?
Because the oath still binds us, and because I am tired of fighting ghosts.
Suta extended his hand, palm open, crimson light flickering at his fingertips.
This hand, it's the same hand that shook mine on that beach. Can I really take it?
Kazuya's hand rose, trembling halfway to Sauta's, then hovered, frozen by old fear and new hope.
Forgive the intrusion, but I've read the same legends. The Tide King's oath is known to my family. Take his hand, Kazuya. This isn't weakness. It's the strength to mend what was broken.
She's right. All my life I've worn arrogance like armor, but it only made me hollow.
We're not defined by past mistakes. We're defined by what we build next.
Build, not destroy. That's what the oath meant. I've been a fool for so long.
With a shuddering breath, Kazuya closed the distance. Their fingers met and the world ignited. A scroll of pure light unfurled between them, ancient symbols blazing. Then slowly the cracks began to seal. Crimson aura and golden light spiraled into a single pillar, driving back the shadows of the hall.
The Tide King's oath is renewed. This will change the academy, and perhaps the world.
As the light faded, Sauta and Kazuya stood bound by something older than blood, a promise finally kept. From the fading radiance, two spectral forms emerged, the old pirate king and his scarred rival, smiling with a peace that spanned centuries. They said nothing. Their peace was a gift that needed no words. The scroll of the oath, once shattered, now gleamed whole, every crack sealed, every promise restored. The clasped hands remained firm, a physical anchor for the spiritual covenant.
This power, it's not just mine or his, it's ours. Do you feel it? The weight of a promise fulfilled.
I feel whole. For the first time, I'm not fighting alone.
The old king and his rival placed ghostly hands on their successor's shoulders, then dissolved into motes of light. The scroll, too, faded into the ether. Its task complete, they walked out of the hall not as rivals, but as brothers bound by an oath older than the stones beneath their feet. The morning sun struck the courtyard as they emerged, but the faces waiting there held more shadow than light.
The heir of Tide Academy and the Reborn King standing together. This will cause ripples.
I'll add my royal backing to that ripple. We've all seen what happens when power serves only the powerful.
Starting today, this academy becomes a place where strength guards the weak, not terrorizes them.
Murmurs rolled through the body of cadets, a tide of disbelief and reluctant hope.
I was the worst of them. If I can stand with the Reborn King, any of you can change.
He really has changed. This alliance might just be the key to a new era.
Suta raised his cutlass, not in threat, but as a vow. Crimson light traced the blade like a covenant.
I swear by this blade, the strong will serve, the weak will rise, and this academy will become a beacon.
Shoulder to shoulder, they walked into the heart of the academy, the first steps of a new tide, leaving ripples in their wake. The following morning, the entire academy assembled under gray skies. A wooden arena had been erected in the main yard.
You doubt our resolve. Let us show you what a bond forged across lifetimes can do.
A squad of elite senior cadets, hand-picked by skeptics, marched into the ring. Their captain sneered at the unlikely duo.
Ready to eat your words, elites? Sota, back to back.
Crimson and gold flared as one. Sota's cutlass swept legs while Kazuya's blade parried high. A single fluid motion. In 30 seconds, the elites were disarmed and on their backs. The arena fell silent.
That's the Reborn King and the Heir. They're unstoppable together.
This is not about domination. It's about protecting those who can't protect themselves.
A flawless demonstration. The doubters have been silenced, at least for now.
The reborn king and the humbled heir stood side by side, their legend no longer a whisper but a roar. Yet, in the shadows, envious eyes plotted. Days melted into a new rhythm. Suta and Kazuya drilled side by side, their auras sparking as they pushed each other's limits.
You are still too slow, old man. Again, and this time, put your back into it.
Ryo joined them, wooden sword shaking, but eyes burning with new resolve. The weakest cadet was learning to stand. Kazuya knelt beside a struggling junior cadet, correcting his grip with surprising gentleness. The old arrogance was nowhere to be seen.
The air has truly changed. This academy is becoming what it should have always been.
Suta's dorm room now held small trophies and a single medal, but it was the medallion on his desk that glowed with quiet pride. Evening walks became their counsel. Two rivals turned brothers, planning a future that stretched beyond the academy walls. A panting scout burst through the gates, his uniform torn, his voice a ragged cry. Armed riders, their banners unknown, are sweeping toward us. They will be here by dawn.
Then dawn is our deadline. We'll be ready.
Before dawn, the academy gates groaned open. Cadets lined the walls, weapons gleaming under torchlight.
We'll meet them head on. No one breaks our line. Not while our blades burn together.
Archers, hold until my signal. We let them come close and funnel them through the gate. Then you two seal the breach.
The first light of dawn revealed the enemy. Dark riders with sun-bleached banners, pounding toward the academy like a wave.
Now, Kazuya, let our oath light this field.
Crimson and gold erupted, intertwining into a pillar that lit the battlefield.
For the academy and every weakling they thought could be trampled.
The two met the vanguard like a storm. Kazuya's blade deflected an axe aimed at Sauta, who countered with a sweep that unhorsed two riders.
We move as one. No gap, no hesitation.
Back to back, they carved a crimson-gold path into the enemy ranks. The battle had truly begun. The last of the enemy banners vanished over the horizon, swallowed by a bleeding sunset.
I spent my whole life trying to be the strongest. But today, fighting beside you, I finally understand what strength is for.
Took you long enough, rival, but I never doubted you'd get there.
I was wrong, Sauta. About you, about the weak, about everything. I am sorry it took a lifetime to see it.
That lifetime is behind us. We've got a new one to build, together.
The medallion on Sauta's chest pulsed softly, and for a fleeting moment, two old ghosts stood behind them, nodding with quiet pride.
So, what now? The world out there is still full of threats.
We'll face them, but first, we make this academy a place worth defending. A beacon, remember?
They stood in comfortable silence, the weight of an oath fulfilled resting light on their shoulders. The reborn king and the humbled heir, no longer just a legend, but a promise kept. Soft footsteps on stone announced May's arrival, a scroll of peace treaty in her hand, and a smile on her lips.
The scouts report the enemy has fractured. The academy is safe and your fame is spreading.
Then, it's time we start building that beacon. No more titles, just work.
Work sounds good. I am tired of being just a Heir. Let's be something better.
The academy's emblem, two crossed blades under a crown, seemed to glow in the dying light, as if blessing the new era. Later, they walked to a cliff overlooking the endless ocean, a place where old kings once stared at the horizon.
The sea never changes, but we have.
And the world will too. I'll make sure my kingdom knows what you've done here.
The medallion on Sauta's chest pulsed one final time, and the scroll of the oath appeared briefly in the sky, whole and golden. Together, they faced the endless horizon, not as a king, an heir, or a princess, but as three souls bound by a promise older than the tides.